Assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Anum Iqbal and I will be your host for this week's Fireside chat. Before we begin, I would request you all to please subscribe to our channel and comment if you want us to invite you or another fellow Nustian to this series. Today, I'm really excited because we are doing the first of its kind episode. For the first time, we have invited a couple from NUS, rather an amazing couple from NUS to this series. Both of them are really motivated individuals, and together they have become a power couple. So, without creating any more suspense, let's introduce you to Ahsan Rehman and Sundas. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Anum. Walaikum salam.
Thank you so much for taking time out for us because I know both of you have got your hands full with work, Nustian, and your little bundle of joy. So let's start from the beginning. My first question is going to be from Ehsan. Ehsan, I know you graduated in 2012 and after that you were working with IBM Pakistan. So how did you come to US? ये कैसे plan हुआ? क्या motivation थी?
Thank you so much, Anam. I'll have to take you back to 2012, probably when I graduated from SEEKS. We were lucky enough to have a lab sponsored by IBM at SEEKS, and from there, when I graduated and did my final year project, I was able to join IBM Pakistan. I was a consultant, worked for 2 years over there. During my time at IBM, I was working on data science, machine learning, and with an undergrad degree, I just had one or two courses in this domain, and I really wanted to pursue more depth, I would say, studies in this domain. And that's what led me to start looking for universities outside Pakistan. At that time, there was no degree being offered in Pakistan. And one of my professors from NUST, he actually was really kind of encouraging me to that I should actually pursue higher studies. And then I was lucky enough when I was working in IBM Pakistan, one of my managers who is based out of the US referred me to some of the top schools in the United States. I applied in UK and US, but I was lucky enough to land my admissions and I was secured an admission at Northwestern. It was a 15-month data science program with hands-on experience. We were working with different companies while during my degree, I would say. So it was pretty fantastic because I was getting to study data science, big data, machine learning, then some of the courses from the business school. So that kind of was what pulled me into the United States, coming over here for my graduate studies. And after that, once I finished my degree, I got another offer from IBM US. And then I've been working in IBM at this point, Emerging Technologies Group under Cloud and Cognitive Company for IBM. And it's been 5 years now since I've been working at IBM, and since 2014, so it's around my 7th year. Starting next year, I'll be in the US. So it's been a good experience.
You're doing a wonderful job. So Zahra, आपसे भी मेरा same ही question होगा. What did you do after graduation, and how did you come to US? What was the plan?
Okay, so the plan. I graduated from NUST S3H in 2014. My degree was BS Mass Communication. We were the pioneer batch for that degree. And we started off in a school named NBS, but by the time we graduated, it was S3H. So I would like to tell you that, because a lot of people get confused about which school we actually belong to. So I always wanted to do my even my undergrad from US, but my parents thought I'm too young and naive to be sent alone. So, like the whole struggle went on and on for years, trying to, tell them that I am like trustable and adult, like a mature adult who can handle
On my own.
situations. Like your parents think that you're just too, always think you're so immature and you're like naive and, probably you're too innocent for the world or whatever. A lot of these concerns. So what happened was that I started working right after I graduated. I did a couple of internships. I did internships in a couple of government and non-government organizations. I did an internship from telecom sector to media houses, many internships during the degree, after the degree as well. I shadowed a couple of international journalists. One of them worked for Al Jazeera. He and working with him really fascinated me. It was more of like, some of it was like my side hustle, I would say. That was not my main job. So before I landed my first job, this is what was going on. I'm a PR major, so I worked as a PR professional for 2.5 years. But I had a lot of interest in journalism, and for journalism in Pakistan, I couldn't really find an institute that offers a master's degree that really appealed to me. So I already had a plan. So I applied for different colleges, some prestigious colleges across US, and I got accepted in almost. Actually got. I was fortunate enough to like get accepted in all of them, but I didn't get scholarship in all of them. I got partial scholarship in some of them, and some of them didn't offer scholarships. So in the end, I took some advice from one of my NUS professors. I laid down. These are the offers that I have. This is the money they're offering. So where should I go? And they said that I still remember, like, I had a meeting with one of our professors in F11. He was visiting Pakistan. He is also like left now. So he advised me to choose this college, Ohio University, because they not only offered me a full tuition scholarship, they offered me a job, campus job as well. So I worked as a research assistant and teaching assistant. So the reason I chose this university then was, of course, some not just like the money, but also because it has been amongst the top 10 schools of journalism for decades in US, and it was an amazing program. So that's how the whole thing went, and I think I am very happy with the decision I made. That is I would say a short version of the story. Yeah.
Mashallah, what a wonderful start for both of you. So, next question is for both of you. So, as students, did you guys face any challenges here in the US or any experiences that you would like to share with the audience? Any difficulties and how did you overcome this?
Want to start?
Oh, okay. Okay. The challenges. Well, it was not the first time that I was traveling alone. As I mentioned, sorry, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, okay, I just mentioned the side hustles, but I was working as a PR professional with a very prestigious educational institute and then an international NGO. And when I was working there with an international NGO, I got a chance to travel to Europe and Americas, and because of my work, I had traveled already. So, that fear and that barrier had already broken from my parents, and they were pretty cool with me going abroad. So that was not my first time. But that really doesn't mean that sometimes we assume that we have traveled with our parents, we have taken foreign trips, or we have traveled abroad. So we know what we have to do. Traveling with a student visa is totally different. And traveling and settling down in another country are two different stories. So when I was coming here, my first challenge was that I had an internship lined up in Washington, D.C. I interned at Pakistan Embassy before my degree started. So I had to find a place for just a very short time in DC. And getting a lease for this short period is itself a biggest challenge. And I got to know about my internship like a month earlier. So, and then I had to find a place at my university. So I really didn't work a lot on my finding an accommodation in my university because I had all my energies directed towards finding a place for my first destination, that was DC. So when I arrived at my university, I had to spend a whole week in a hotel, and then I met these people on orientation day, and that I visited a lot of a lot of people. And then, like, it was a tough decision because I had to share an apartment with a foreign student. And you do feel kind of apprehensive, because you have to, like, you kind of feel exposed because you're living, I haven't lived with anyone before, right? So that was a big challenge. Cultural differences in your food, because we have a lot of dietary restrictions as Muslims, and then a lot of these things, because I had never thought before. I have worked with international people before. It's very easy. I thought it's very easy to, like, communicate with foreigners, or like make friends with them, get my message across. But living with someone is a totally different story.
Yeah.
So that was a challenge, I would say. And I lived in a part of a country where there was no Pakistani restaurant. There were no halal stores. It's a small college town. It's a really small college town. For the public commute, we don't have any public commute on Sundays. There is a bus that used to come like once in 1 hour, and if you miss that, you miss it. And like how in Pakistan we have our parents and a lot of facilities. So learning to cook and learning to do your own laundry and learning to do your own dishes, and I would say trying to stay healthy and alive itself, keeping yourself alive and healthy itself is itself a challenge. You don't realize it because at our homes, our mothers are reminding us to stay hydrated and eat.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, this is the biggest challenge. I can tell you, because a lot of us, we are privileged enough that our mothers usually keep us, they provide us with everything.
Yeah.
So these are the things that are a big challenge.
This is so true, and I really understand, because I know we come from a really protected environment in Pakistan. We are really protected, especially the girls, that we are treated like princesses, and when we come here, it's a cultural shock that we have to do a lot of work ourselves. So, Ahsan, what would you like to share? What was your biggest challenge?
I would second what many things Zahra said, but I'll add more to this. When it comes to challenges for myself, I had traveled to US once, but I never stayed outside home for more than a few weeks, I would say. Coming to US and staying long term all by myself itself was a big thing to accept and then follow. And then accommodation, first of all, how to find an apartment, how to find a place itself. It looked like very easy when I was coming to the US, but then going through all those websites, those local, I would say, portals through the university and everything, that took some time, and I had to make a lot of effort. And at that time, I didn't have any friend at that school or any connection, so that I all had to do by myself. Then I would say one big thing which I had to understand coming to the US was maintaining a good credit score. How does it start? Is you need a social security number. You cannot have a credit card. You cannot have a driver's license. It's all linked to social security number. So that whole process, although once it gets going, it's very easy for you, but how to initiate it, how to get those things one by one added, it takes time. And that's where I would say anyone who comes has to kind of understand the internal process of America, or where you're living in that city. That was a challenge. Then taxes itself, I never did that when I was in Pakistan. Never I had to worry about it. Over here, you have to do all of these things by yourself. I actually, when I started off, I made some mistakes. I had to go back and do some filings and everything. Like some of the Medicaid FICA taxes were being deducted when I did my internship. That third thing, which I really took me some time, was when you come to the US, it's a multicultural place. When you come to the institute, like in Pakistan, I knew everyone was from Pakistan. They kind of had similar habits or the way you communicate. In the US, you have Asians, Europeans, Americans, Africans, South Americans. They're like people from different places. Then they have their own way to communicate, understand how to develop the relationships. That itself took me some time, and that was a toll. And other than that, the institute where I was going was really competitive. Northwestern was a quarter system. I was studying in a semester system before. It was a 10 weeks quarter. That was like, everything is so fast. Everything you have to do within days. There is so much competition. You are studying in an environment where everyone is challenging you, your professors, how to communicate with professors. That was one thing. In Pakistan, you always call them sir or ma'am. Over here, you call them by name. It's a different way to communicate and ask questions in the class. How do you submit assignments and everything? So to first, I would say 6 months to a year, you just start to understand the system. And while you're studying, everything is running so fast that you cannot miss on anything. And you have to be on top of everything, I would say, as an immigrant or as an international student. Then once it comes to your jobs, your OPT, STEM, all these things, it takes time. You have to kind of spend hours on understanding this whole process. And then you start applying and getting things done, finding an internship. I was lucky enough to have a good advancement office at my university, which really helped me. But still, doing all of these things other than your studies, like Zahra said, food, taking care of your health, it's too much to handle at the start. But then that makes you what you are today. Is you kind of become much, much more experienced in a very short period of time. And that's the beauty, I would say, as an international student. You really accelerate yourself, your learning, and you then do good in your life.
It's a crash course for survival, I think, for
and I would
basic kids.
Exactly, survival of the fittest. I could see it. Why do they say it?
Yeah.
I could actually practice it myself. That I have to be on the time, know each other, know everything, and you cannot say, "Okay, I didn't know about it." No, you have to know it.
It tests a lot of things. It doesn't test just your intelligence. It tests whether you can stand the weather.
Oh yeah.
How you're going to figure out the transportation,
Correct.
Your management skills, like all sorts of management skills. Your emotional, I would say, I think it's a big test for your managing your emotions, because
Correct.
for the first time, I think a lot of us are alone. We don't realize the kind of support we have at our home country, not by just our parents, but the friends we grew up with, who are, I mean, like the power of just that hug that you get, or like just the holding hands, or like your mom or your dad like putting a hand on your shoulder, that really gives you a lot of energy. That you don't realize the importance of it until it's gone and it's no longer available.
And one more thing which I'll add is health insurance, understanding the medical system in the US.
We should have a session for that. We should really have a session for that. Taxes, because I have paid a price for that. And health insurance, people should know. Like, even if you have the scholarship, the university is not going to pay for your insurance. And it's very expensive. Very expensive.
And one more thing I'll say is the emotional support system while you're in Pakistan, your friends, your family, your relatives, and the technical or mentors you have. That's very important. It took me time to find those mentors over here. But in Pakistan, you have so many people who keep advising you. They kind of have been through that path. They keep telling you. Over here, you have to develop that, find those people and connect with them and especially.
I think you have to build new relationships.
Right.
You have to build up a new life from scratch.
Correct.
Basically. Yeah.
Here I would like to mention that Ahsan is one of the co-founders of NUSTIAN USA and is also currently VP Communications. And Zahra is our communication lead. She was the first volunteer to join the team and she developed our social media strategy. So how did you guys join NUSTIAN? How did the volunteering part start? Because from what I can hear, you guys had a lot going on already. So ये NUSTIAN USA कहाँ से आया?
I can start. So back in, I would say 2016, it was around September, October. One of my friend who's based out of Canada, he added me to a WhatsApp group for NUSTIAN alumni in North America. I got added to that group, and being from Sikhs, I started adding all my friends from Sikhs. And it was like 150 at that time, and I exploded to 200 or 225 right away, like within a few days. And then the president at that time, and still our president, Mr. Shiraz Bashir, who was leading that group, he connected with me and we started talking about. And I said, sure, I can definitely work on this thing, because I was volunteering at NUST. Before that, I was doing a lot of these activities at my school as well. So kind of I had this knack. And in 2016, when I got to meet these people from all schools of NUST, and they were doing some amazing things in terms of when I looked at the LinkedIn's, they were top companies, very good, I would say, positions. And I was like, definitely, I want to connect with these people. So that kind of idea of networking, knowing more people in Chicago, meeting them. Then the Iftar came in. We kind of set up a Chicago chapter. I remember you set up a Silicon Valley chapter at that point. So that kind of started creating a buzz. Okay, we can connect. We can have a social network where we can meet each other. It started building up.
Dinner and Iftar meetups.
Yeah, but in 2017, I guess, Rector came. And that kind of accelerated to things when he was coming. Mr. Shiraz Bashir was leading that. He said, okay, you are kind of the coordinator who will manage the alumni meetups for all the cities they go in and help them connect with universities in these cities, find alumni who are studying in those schools. That kind of, I would say, acted as a catalyst, and we started setting up different chapters for NUST. It was New York, DC, Phoenix, Silicon Valley, Southern California, Chicago at that point. And then we started finding alumni, we started setting up the WhatsApp groups. And at that point, I met a lot of people who are part of the board and executive committee as of now. Mudar, I met Rahil Bodla, Maria Riaz, Dr. Rashid Bhatti, all these people, we got connected through that, I would say, event, director's visit. Then we decided, okay, we should set up a NUSTIAN USA 501c3 non-for-profit body in the US as an organization. And then it went through. It's back in 2017, 2018, probably start of 2018 when we established our board of directors, our NUSTIAN executive committee. At that point, we used to call it NUST core committee, NCC. And it's that day, it's been building from 150 to 200 people. Now it's 600 plus members. And I believe there's still 1,000 plus, a total of 1,000 plus people, which so 400 to 500 more people we can add. And there's a lot of potential. And we have done hundreds of events, doing a lot of activities. And Alhamdulillah, it's been growing. We have been connecting. We have been helping people with jobs. And that's been the story. So as VP coordination, I was responsible for internal and external coordination, for developing relationships, connecting with the embassy, working with NAS. So it has been fun, right? And it has been, I've made a lot of new friends. I've done various new initiatives. I've built teams, and it's been really, really, for myself, a learning experience, I would say. And a lot of satisfaction in terms of making sure people were actually getting help from what we started off.
Well, I joined NUSTIAN USA back when the rector visited. And that's when I got to know that such an organization exists. And I've always had like passion for higher education and doing something for higher education in Pakistan, especially for that's my own my own school. So that was a chance, and I took it, and I volunteered. Then we created that whole team, and a lot of talented people joined. I would like to mention two names that I recommended to Ahsan, and we've been doing wonderful job. Uh, One is Saira Tabassum. She's from Silicon Valley, and one who has left now for Ireland, Rafi Imran Amjad. So he did a wonderful job, like when he was working with us. So these are both like from mass communication. So shout out to mass communication grads. So yeah, and from then on, like I've been working with him, with other people from across the USA, and it has been a wonderful experience, I would say.
Okay, चले, now we got to know about you guys as individuals. अब आप हमें ये बताएं कि ये power couple कैसे बना और कहाँ मिले, and would you guys like to share your story with us?
Sure. So thanks to our parents for planning and arranging our marriage. I would say they were the ones who actually, when they told me about Sundus Zahra, I was like, I know her through NUSTIAN USA, not NUST.
Know of her.
I know of her, but I don't know her exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when they told me these names. So I'll be honest, in Pakistani, especially Desi families, since I came to the US, I was always hearing proposals coming up, like different names. Why don't you talk about this? This. So like I was just dekhte karte. And then when this name came up, I was like, yeah, I should talk to her. And then I reached out to her, to Sundas, Zahra actually, and then we started looking at talking about different things, and a lot of things with Zahra actually matched my family backgrounds, our family values, coming from business families. Then I'm very patriotic about my country, Pakistan. I take a lot of pride in NUST, and I'm really fond of where I got my undergrad education. And then when it came to NUSTI, and she knew, I actually told her how much passionate I am about volunteer work. So those kind of things resonated with both of us. And I was really, once we started talking, a lot of common grounds I found with her. I was like, sure, we should. And then
Sure, we should do it like
we should,
that.
sure,
Is it like a
we should actually definitely talk more about it. That's the way it started catching up.
This sounds so boring, but okay. Yeah, a little boring. Okay. So, yeah. Should I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was in Germany, and I think I was working from distance, and I didn't. I didn't know that I'm married. To be honest, I think for me, the biggest thing that was just really pinching me was that I'm actually marrying an STN. I don't know. In my head, I was like, no, like, like, oh, whoever I get married, it would be an STN. But, you never know because we both grew up in Islamabad. We both went to NAS. Our schools were just one avenue apart, the Scholars Avenue, between NBS and Estate. But we never met there. We never met there. We got to know each other about each other in US, but then again, there were hundreds of people that we knew about, and like we don't remember everyone who's in Nastian. We don't know everyone in Nastian, right? So at that time, we didn't used to have these video chats or anything. We used to have these hands-on calls and those group calls, and there's so many people, so you don't really notice everyone. You don't even know if the other person is single. So when my parents, I think it was the same thing that Essence mom also said that we clicked, because even when my parents have been bringing up a lot of options, and they knew that she just doesn't want to get married. But when his name came up, I was like, okay, I'll look into it because it seemed interesting. For me, it was more of like, ooh, okay, him. So his parents, how did that happen? Like, I thought that's him, but it was not him. It was his dad. I actually thought something is going on, but it wasn't. But then we talked, and I think I have to say that probably we were meant to be because we had really odd habits that matched. Really odd habits that matched.
Sure.
Yeah, that a lot of people find weird. Even our parents, they're like, how does this happen? Like his mom was so surprised when she visited me first. It was like, this is exactly how Essen lays out stuff. This is exactly how he has stored his childhood stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, it was, I think, meant to be.
That is so sweet. So let's fast forward it a bit. Recently, you guys welcomed your cute little bundle of joy. And from what I know, she came during the pandemic, and the Black Lives Matter movement is also going on. So, tell us about your experience and how the Nastian community helped you guys during that.
Okay, that's a bit, it's a very broad question. I think. So yeah, I got pregnant during a very challenging time for everyone, I would say. But especially, I think it was very challenging in the beginning when we didn't know what's going on with this virus, and uh, you know, it was more scary in the beginning because we had less knowledge. And I was to deliver in downtown Chicago, and we were already very terrified. Like we were terrified, and I think for the first birth, every woman is terrified. But with a virus going on, and you know that before you're even allowed to go into uh, the hospital or you have to get a COVID test done. So they're going to put something down your nostril, and only after that, even if you're having contractions or whatever, yeah, only after that you're allowed. So, and also there's no family allowed. And we didn't know till the last day what are the protocols because they kept changing every day. My gynecologist, from any of the doctors, hospitals, they didn't know. They gave us just one answer: we don't know. We will tell you that very day. So be ready for whatever it is. So you might have to deliver alone. We might only allow your husband. We might allow some other family, might not allow anyone, or whatever was going on. So it kind of created a lot of anxiety. And what happened that very day, I think a day before we left actually, Black Lives Matter protests started across the country. And the hospital is situated on the Lake Michigan,
Next, Nick.
next to Lake Michigan. And there was a protest going on right beneath that window of the room where I was delivering. So I remember my baby, Essen was holding my baby a few minutes after I gave birth, and he and the baby were looking at the protest that was going down there. And you know what happened that day? You must have heard or read in the news. For the first time ever, the whole Michigan Avenue, people looted all these luxury stores, and there were so many robberies, and I think there were a lot of firing, and I don't know, it just all turned in. There was so much chaos going on, and they what they did, the city was shut down, I think the state was right.
So curfew was announced.
The curfew was announced. No one was allowed inside the state, and the restaurants closed. And like a woman who has just given birth, we were not allowed to order a second portion because the kitchens were closed, and he was not given beyond, I think, 1 meal or 2 meals. Yeah, so we couldn't even order food. So that is something unheard of, and I think really unpredictable. So I mean, that time, it gives me anxiety even to talk about it, I would say. I really hope that no one has to go through it, but we survived, I guess, and we came back um, the next day. It was very scary, I would say. It was very scary, but alhamdulillah, um, it happened, and we have been through that now. Talking about Nastian, I think when I was pregnant and after I gave birth, in that process, the Nastian group of women that I met through Nastian, I still call them all the Nastian Bhabis. So we have this women group that all these women have created. They're mostly, some of them are Nastian themselves, some of the women, and some of them are spouses of the Nastian alumni. And we have this group of our own. So we do a lot of gatherings for Thanksgiving and for Eid, and like we have our own thing going on. So that group was very, very supportive for me. From making the baby registry of my baby, to deciding about epidural, to deciding what should I feed my baby. You just put a question there, and there's so many helping voices there. There's so many concerned voices there, and it's a very talented group of women, I should tell you. We have doctors, we have engineers, we have data scientists. So, that's a very supportive group, and they're all Pakistanis, and they have, like this shared experience of belonging to the same country, and being in this almost the same age group, I would say, that really helps, because they have that kind of empathy that I needed during these months, and they provided it. So yeah, I think I really love all of them, and I am really, really thankful to all of them for that.
What a great story. And here I would like to add that the family in Pakistan, we don't get to choose them, but here we get to choose our family, which is actually friends. And we are so lucky that we have this Nastian community, which has actually become our second family here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So mashallah, I love the energy that you guys have. And Ehsan, as far as I know, besides Nastian, you are volunteering with Open Chicago as event lead, and you're also mentoring grad students in data science. And on top of that, you also write product blogs for IBM. तो हाउ डू यू मैनेज योर टाइम? यहाँ पे तो लोग यही हर वक्त कहते हैं कि जी हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है, बिकॉज सब कुछ खुद करना होता है, ग्रोसरी से लेके घर के काम से लेके एवरीथिंग. सो हाउ डू यू मैनेज योर टाइम?
Right. The first thing you have to understand, when I look at myself, I say I'm blessed. I got so many opportunities. I had so many good people who gave me good advice at the right time. If I'm here, it's because of those people, my friends, my family, all their prayers. And I have responsibility towards that as well. If I was able to get here, definitely I need to help other people. If I had made mistakes, I should make sure other people don't make those mistakes. If I know something, I should share it with others so they can get value out of it. Small decisions sometimes become so difficult for a human. And if someone advises you, it becomes so easy that you don't have to think the second time. So when it comes to all these things you talked about, it's driven by your passion. It's driven by the idea of helping others, the idea of making people's life easier by giving them a good advice. So like what you said, I do for Nastian, or I did for other organizations, or I help students. It's all that if someone reaches out to me, there is a reason I was chosen for that. And if I don't do it, someone else will do it. So why should I waste this opportunity? And if I get a chance, I should probably find some time. I don't know how, but if I try to find, I'll definitely find an answer. I don't have an answer to every problem, but if I look for it, if I think for it, there'll definitely be something I can tell anyone else. And mostly with Time management, I would be honest, is you have to prioritize things. Number four, my family, my wife, my baby, my parents back home. That's my primary responsibility. Second, I'm a breadwinner. I need to work. I need to have a job which is where I can perform well, where I deliver, like what we say, halal risk. I have to work hard for that. It doesn't come to my plate right away. Number three, it is what am I doing for myself? Health, I understand I need to take care of my health, but other than that, my mental spirit, my mental thoughts, they need to be put on the right path, which satisfies me, which makes my life okay. I'm enjoying it, and that's where I find these things are really, really helping me. When it comes to Nustian, the whole idea why I was really interested was that I said when you came back in 2014, you had to face so many hurdles. If someone comes in 2018, should they be facing the same hurdles which you did and just watch them and you just sit and say, oh, mere saath bhi hua, to iske saath bhi ho? No, you should help them out. And for that, we decided, okay, an organization should be there. Then when it comes to providing scholarships, I really hear a lot of stories from Pakistan. And personally, some of my classmates, when I was doing studying at Sikhs, they were from areas I had never heard the name of in Pakistan. But when I met them, they're now one of my best friends from Sindh, Southern Punjab, from Balochistan, from KPK. And when I saw those people sitting next to me in those classes and doing so well, I was like, once I graduate, I'll make sure I can be part of that alumni who can contribute towards making sure more students from those areas can come and study at us. And that was one more reason why I wanted to really, really focus my energies. And then the third idea was, like Zara has been focusing, and you also said family and friends. You can find good friends over here, then why not use this network of Nastian and find people who I know are really talented and just connect with them. Honestly speaking, if I want to reach out to someone in Silicon Valley and just message them on LinkedIn, he might not reply. But as a Nastian, when I tell them I'm from the same school like you are and this is my interest, they'll definitely talk to me. And that was the connection I want to leverage, Nastian. And when it comes to, I would say, managing all these activities, at times it's very hard. At times I'm like, where am I stuck? Why am I doing all these things? I should stop. But then what keeps pushing me is that, okay, I want to be able to do it today, maybe tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Just keep trying it. Don't lose hope. Ask Allah for help. Allah will bless your time and you'll start finding good ways to do it. At the end of the day, if someone asks me, what's the reason why you do it? I was like, if I keep doing it, I'm sure I'll learn, I'm sure I'll grow, and definitely things will get better with me. If I get stuck, I'll have a good support system to help me out with that. And if someone gets stuck, they know there is someone I can ask and I'll answer that question. That was the thing which keeps pushing me to do better and better.
Okay, Zara, as a spouse of a person who's working so hard, or काम भी है और volunteer work भी है, so how do you support Ahsan?
I think supporting से ज़्यादा होता है if you don't create a hurdle as a spouse. When a baby was not there, it was much easier. Ahsan was working for an organization and a cause that I really, really respect. So I never had an issue with that. And I think when we got to know each other after our rishta was finalized and everything, one of the few things, we discussed that this is something I cannot compromise on. This is something that makes me really happy. Nustian has been on top of it. And not just Nustian, a few other volunteer causes that Ahsan dedicates his time to, those two. And I was absolutely not just okay, I was happy about it. I mean, why would you not want your spouse to work towards something that makes other people's life better? uh, I believe in good karma. So I think even when we were on drives, Essence is always on a call. One person who calls us the most is Tehmoor Bhai. They're always discussing something and they're always planning to include new people. Usually it's Tehmoor Bhai, Essence, and there's a third new person every time who both of them they're talking to and trying to bring them on board. So yeah, this is, I think a lot of people who are watching this would know who they are. So this is what's happening. And eventually, I've been working with Nashteen too. So I think that's what it is. And it's not about time management, as we say sometimes, how we manage time. Nobody is a magician. We all get tired, we all get exhausted, we all get frustrated by workload. And especially after the baby. he has been staying up at night sometimes when he had to get things done. He works on weekends. Weekends, he has never, there hasn't been a weekend he has not been working. And if not Nustin, for something else. We have like on weekends, we have these calls, right? So we make our family plans around those calls. We make our, we arrange everything around that. To be honest, like my first trip after marriage, we had 4 nested meetups of that. Yeah, the first time we traveled. When I arrived there, but like there's a good side to it. Because when I arrived there, we had a whole Walima dinner by the Nastians in our, like, it was for us. And so we get so much love from each other. We get so much support from each other.
True.
So, I mean, I don't think it's a big price to pay, the kind of love and support we get in return.
Zahra, इसी पे I would like to ask you another question. What do you think is the most significant factor in choosing a partner for your life?
Okay, so for me, I think it's just like for me, it's trust and respect. And when I say respect, there are 3 dimensions to it. Being able to respect someone's past, and past means where they're coming from, the family, the background they're coming from, and the choices they've made throughout their lives up till that point. You're able to respect that dimension of them, everything they've done, good and bad. And you're able to respect their present, where they stand today, and you're able to respect the future. And the future is defined, I think, by the kind of morals and ethical values that you implement in everyday life, your ambitions, all these things. So all these 3 dimensions, that's what I think that all demands respect. And if you're able to respect all these 3 dimensions, that is the person. And the trust, I think trust is something that is not, some people say trust is built, but you know what? When you're choosing a partner, you don't know about the future, only time can tell. So trust is a gift that you give to other person, and they have to, I would say, they have to honor it with loyalty. So as long as they honor it with loyalty, the relationship will last and the relationship will be strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Now let's play a small game. It's a rapid fire round. I
Okay.
will ask you a couple of questions about each other.
So lighter side.
On the lighter side, yeah.
Yeah.
So who would like to begin?
Ladies first.
No, you started. Let's break this cliche of ladies first. You started. Let's start from you.
Okay. Let's start with Ahsan, and you have to respond just quickly in one
Sure.
second.
I'll try.
Okay.
Zahra's favorite TV show.
Zara's favorite TV show past, it was Friends. It keeps changing. I couldn't just name it. Friends was one of very favorite. She mentions it a lot.
Zahra's life mission.
Zara's life mission at this point would be to make sure our daughter is raised up in a proper manner, and mashallah, she becomes successful, she's healthy, and we are able to fulfill all our duties as parents, I would say at this point. We're really focused on
I'm
that.
obsessed with her.
Yeah. And if it was, for me, it was we make sure SM keeps working hard and getting successful in life and staying healthy, and we have a good, healthy relationship, I would say. That's one of the major life missions. And for herself, I would say becoming the best journalist in the world, I would say at this point. Yeah.
Zahra's favorite color.
Zara's favorite color. Interesting.
Interesting.
The clock is ticking. 1, 2.
That's it. Like pink would be one of them, but yeah, black.
Zahra, is that correct?
I think black after giving birth, every woman's favorite color is black. And I think I had a lot of pink clothes in my wardrobe.
Right.
So he's not entirely wrong. Yeah.
One habit of Zahra that you really love.
Multiple. How can I say one habit? Don't do that. There are lots of habits. Zara.
Actually, यही सही जवाब था और आप बिल्कुल इस पे कामयाब हो गए.
Okay.
Okay, quick question.
Done?
Yes. Now over to Zahra. Okay. Zahra, जल्दी answer करना. Okay, no thinking time. So, Ahsan's favorite food.
Barbecue.
Okay, Essence life motto.
Ahsan's life motto,
Hmm.
सब कुछ टाइम से पहले हो जाना चाहिए.
Yes.
वक्त से पहले, not even on time. He is like Germans can be like I should have been born in Germany. Like you want to get things done before time, and I don't know how to catch up with that.
And his favorite movie?
Sorry, what?
His favorite movie?
Essence favorite movie? Hollywood, Bollywood, any?
Anything.
Essence favorite movie would be, I think it would be. Wait, seriously, I
अपनी शादी की movie?
Gangs of, हाँ अपनी शादी की मूवी तो बहुत ही फेवरेट है, सबको दिखाते रहते हैं. Gangs of Wasseypur, जो हम दोनों को पसंद है. That's one of them, but Andaz अपना अपना, I think, because he's yeah, I think that he's out of that. He came out of that movie sometimes. That's how he acts around.
Okay, one habit that you wish he changes.
One habit.
One habit that I wish I could change.
Yeah, that he would change.
He should take care.
He should change. I think all his annoying habits are really good because they keep me on check. So I don't think I can change them because then everything will collapse. They're kind of good. They're kind of good for me. But I mean, I keep complaining.
Zabardast. Lovely talking to you guys. Now, one last question. Ehsan, what message would you like to give to the audience? Anything that you would like to convey?
Yeah, definitely. To my NUSTIAN community, NUSTIAN USA members, thank you so much for watching this video, number one. Number two, I would really like you all to step up, contribute in any way you can feel possible. It could be your time, it could be connecting more friends to the NUSTIAN USA community, it could be sharing your knowledge, it could be sending out donations to the scholarship program we do, it could be coming to our social events. It could be anything which you believe could be helpful for your other NUSTIAN USA members. Please start doing that. I would say I highly appreciate everyone who has come forward and supported us so far, and I really believe this mission has so much we can do to help back in Pakistan, to help all our members over it, especially when it comes to young NUSTIANs who come to the US at this point. It becomes very tough because of all of these changes happening. So make sure you can contribute with anything, time, knowledge, monetary benefits, anything which comes up, please keep doing that. And you are what makes NUSTIAN USA. And I really, really want everyone to keep doing that, what we're doing. Consistency will matter and we will keep growing and inshallah keep helping each other. That's it.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed talking to you. और माशाल्लाह से दोनों stay like this, stay happy, stay healthy और इसी तरह अच्छे से काम करते रहे.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much,
Thank you
Anna.
so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Okay.